interested in our own counties, basically, and so when I'm talking to you, it's because the issues that are, of course, important to me are right here. Number one, do you think that charter schools are an answer to pulling some of the money down on the local level and getting them from the bureaucrats and the administrators down into the classroom? And number two, are you in favor or against cell towers on school property?
We'll let Kira start off
Okay.
on that one.
I think that implementing school choice in and of itself, whether it be charter school, home school, community home schools, private school, whatever is best for that specific child is where we need to go. And that to me is school choice. We can start with public school choice and we can move from there. I think charters are a wonderful thing as long as the charters that you are writing to the state are being met with fidelity. That to me is very important. You can't have a charter and then not follow through with what you said you're going to do. I have never thought about cell towers on school property. I don't have a problem with it, but I wouldn't think.
Matt?
Well, I think we don't have the luxury in Georgia anymore to pick and choose what kind of education we think is worthy. And, so I think we need more charter schools, we need more online opportunities for our students. So my approach is, ultimately what I would like to see us get to is the money follows the student. I think we're going to have a step process to get there. But that money should be whatever the FTE spend in that county is. That money should be available to parents so they can direct how their children will go to school. So I think we have to, at least for me anyway, that should be our end goal. But there's going to take some steps to get there. I think one of the things, and I was certainly a proponent of the charter amendment, but one of the things that fell a little bit deaf, I think, for some folks around the state is that they have no opportunities. There's no physical choice. There's no, they don't have another city system. So I think in those areas we have to do more to bring virtual options so that those parents can pull their kids out of that opportunity too. And that's going to take some cooperative work between the Department of Education and the private sector and the Department of Community Affairs, but we've got to get our technology infrastructure improved in those areas so real choice exists for everybody. And I think cell towers, I don't have a problem with that. That's one of those things that should be left to local school systems and schools to determine if that's appropriate for their communities.
Vince? Yes, in answer to your question, I do believe the charter schools. I believe charter schools are another tool we can put in our kit bag, another choice that local districts can use. As long as as long as the charter schools are living up to what their charter says and their promises that they're putting forward. The other thing is we got to understand. We talked about trust. We have to trust that when they put these things and they get forward, they get approved for their charters. That if the charter doesn't work, that we are able to close it down. It's not any different than in business. If you go out and you try something, if it doesn't work, you continue to beat your head against the wall. After a while, it starts to hurt, so we have to stop. So I do believe in the charter school. For cell towers, as long as there's not an interruption in student work, student achievement, I don't have a problem with cell towers. You got to understand, revenue from cell towers, again, is something that we can use, the individual districts can use as they see fit to again forward their costs to their students. Nancy?
Thank you. So it is, just as Fitz said, it's a tool in the toolkit. He's exactly right. I support educational freedom in all aspects, whatever facet or option, whether it's a charter school, public school choice, private school, whatever. I support that because that's a conservative principle. I'm a principled Republican running, and those are the types of values that I'll bring to the office. Unlike, I guess, anybody else here, I have voted about this very issue on cell towers on schools. And so I'm on the record, I voted against it because that's what the community said. The community did not want the cell towers on the campuses. In DeKalb, we have a lot of small campuses, a lot of small pocket schools in neighborhoods. So you're essentially thwarting zoning rules and being able to put a cell tower right next to a resident who had lived in our community for 50 years right next to a school, and that's what they were going to look out and see when they open their door. So I certainly support the local area. They should be able to decide exactly what they want. If they want cell towers, fine. But in the case of DeKalb, I voted against it because that's not what they wanted. And we don't have big tracts of land where we have our schools sitting on. So that's where I stand on that. But again, it's just one, the charter school is just one thing. We do need to simplify our funding formula, and folks have addressed that up here. And that will be another thing, and drive that money to the parents and let them make decisions, because they're the ultimate advocate for what's best for their child. So it's a tool. I will say this, sadly, we have not had enough of the state charter schools be approved. I'm a little bit disappointed in the new charter commission. We need to see more of those, because kids need more options.
Thank you, Nancy. Mary Kay? Can y'all hear okay? Are we good? Okay. So we don't need to bring out a megaphone?
I have been interested in school of choice for the past 20 years. When I wrote my dissertation, my topic was school choice back in 1996. I've been following it since then. And when it first started out, we had companies like Motorola having, charter schools, and they had that for their employees. And it's really expanded. I love the idea of choice. In fact, we have the Educational Freedom Coalition, and one of the key principles is parents get to choose, because parents have the responsibility for their kids. They should be the ones to make the choices about where they go to school. I'm concerned about, when I look at the charter school movement where it is right now, I'm concerned about, it used to be businesses partnering to help educate, and now somehow it seems to be businesses profiting from education. And if you really want school choice, charter schools, as they are right now, and I have the legislation right here, HB 797, it is Common Core. It is there's no choice. You're really not getting a choice. You're going to another school, and it seems like you're getting a choice, but it's all Common Core. Why? Because according to HB 797, it says the department, quote, shall assist in securing federal and other institutional grant funds to establish the Charter School Commission. It's part of the federal takeover of education. It's part of the big Christmas light mix-up that we're trying to separate so we can have true freedom.